Welcome to a screencast for distributive property with variables. In the screencast, you should learn how to use the distributive property to simplify an expression with variables. Before mastering this lesson, you should be very comfortable with multiplication with variables in general. And we need to use distributive property with variables when we look for equivalent expressions and again when we start solving equations. Let's take a look at this first example. We are going to use the distributive property across all three terms. So I am going to distribute the 5 first to the 3n. Then, since this symbol is a plus sign in between the two terms, I'm just going to copy that plus sign there. Then I'm going to distribute the 5 to the 3/5 p. Since this symbol is a subtraction symbol, I'm just going to bring down that subtraction symbol. And then we are going to multiply the 5 times the 7/10 q. Next, I'm going to multiply. So to multiply the 5 times the 3n, that's just going to be 15n. I'm going to take that plus sign and just carry it down. I'm going to multiply the 5 times the 3/5. So basically on my calculator, I just type it exactly as I see it, except on the calculator, I don't put the variable in. The calculator is just used for multiplying the numbers, the 5 times the 3/5. So when I write my answer down, that's just going to be 3p. I bring down the negative symbol, or the minus, and then we multiply the 5 times the 7/10 q. And again, I'm just going to type exactly what I see. Make sure I arrow out of the fraction. Close my parentheses. We get 7/2. So the answer that I write is 7/2 q. Since these are not like terms, I do not combine them. This is my final answer. Let's take a look at another example. Oh, sorry. Before we take a look at another example, I just want to remind you, this intermediate step here is completely optional. I, as a teacher, am going to demonstrate that step every time, especially in the beginning. But as you get more confident in your distribution, you're going to realize that you probably can multiply through 5 times 3n in your head and skip right down there to that 15n. So just to let you know, this is just a teacher step, a step that I will write out there just to highlight what's going on. So now let's take a look at another example. And what's different about this example is that the constant, the number that we're multiplying, is at the end of our parentheses. But really, according to the distributive property, that shouldn't matter. We are still going to distribute that 1/3 to everything in the parentheses. So we are still going to take that 1/3, we're going to multiply it by the 18a. And I'm just going to put the 1/3 in front because that's how I'm used to seeing things. Whatever symbol is inside the parentheses, I'm going to bring that down. And then we're going to multiply the 1/3 by the 12. So now I can use my calculator. 1/3. And you can put it in parentheses. You can use another multiplication symbol if you want. I just tend to like typing everything that I see. Remember, I don't put the variable in because the calculator is just for working with the numbers. So this would be 6a. I'm going to keep that subtraction symbol, and then 1/3 times 12 is 4. So that final answer would be 6a minus 4. So those are two examples of how you can use the distributive property to solve an expression with variables. And just a reminder, that is your intermediate step. As you get more comfortable with the distributive property, you're going to start skipping that step, and that's absolutely fine. If you're not ready to skip that step, that's okay too. When you're ready, then you will. So hopefully in this lesson you have learned how to use the distributive property to simplify an expression with variables.